Hello, Nilima. Hello, Amir. Welcome. Hello, Abram. I see some familiar faces who attended the workshop last week and even from last year. So we are excited to have you here. My name is Sarah Sadouk, and I'm part of the Create App Championship team. And I'm here today joined by Jawaher from the Dubai Chamber of Digital Economy. Okay, next. Kelly? Yeah. So Jawaher is from the Dubai Chamber of Digital Economy. She is the manager of the competitiveness and research for the digital economy sector. And as you know, the Create App Championship is the flagship competition that is led and under the Dubai Chamber of Digital Economy. I will not tell you more about it. I will leave it to Wahel to unfold what is the competition about and the result of last year. Jawahel, the floor is yours.
Wonderful. Thank you, Sarah. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. So on behalf of the Dubai Chamber of Digital Economy, I'm delighted to welcome you on to today's session on AI-driven founder visibility. So this webinar and workshop, as you're aware, is part of the Create Apps Championship. So I'd love to give you context before we delve into it. Basically, the Create Apps in Dubai initiative was launched by His Highness Sheikh Hamdan, and the goal is to basically make Dubai a global hub for research, innovation, entrepreneurship. I'm sure everyone that is joining us today have a lot of ideas, and basically we are more than happy to make them come to life. So to give you context on last year and the year before, what has happened with the Create Apps, we've hit almost 5,000 applications. And through these applications, we've seen so many prototypes, MVPs, things where people just had one idea in their brain. And through the journey, they were able to come up with amazing prototypes by the hundreds. And the good part or the good thing about these competitions is ultimately the network, the mentors you get connected to, the people you get to meet, the community you created. Like Sarah mentioned, there are already familiar faces. So take this as an opportunity when you're going through this competition, which we're very excited to see, very excited to start, not just to build your business idea, but build your connections and get inspired by people. Sarah's going to give you a bit more a detail about the competition overview. But before I hand over, for the almost 65 participants joining this webinar and workshop, just know you're in the safest hands with the teams here that are managing this competition. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. This is the third time we're running this competition, and we've seen great impact. And it's just amazing to see. We're very excited to see all of your ideas, every single one of you. So I'll hand over to Sarah or Kelly, who will give you a bit more detail about the competition overview right now.
Thank you so much, Jawaher, and thank you for giving this opportunity to everyone to bring their idea to life. The Dubai Chamber of Digital Economy is empowering startups and innovators, and you and the team at the Dubai Chamber of Digital Economy is really giving us a platform to bring idea to life and bring your business to life. Thank you, Jawaher, for this warm introduction.
More than welcome.
It is a pleasure for us to be working with you, to be part of the Create App Championship team. Thank you. So as Jawahar mentioned, if you take part of this competition, so there are two ways of thinking. Either you are a student, a government employee, or someone who just has an idea but doesn't have a business, and then you can apply to the competition. Or you already have a business but you do not have a mobile app, and in that case, you also can take part of the competition. What we didn't talk about is prices that comes with it. So during this 6-month competition, we provide you workshop, mentorship, and most importantly, you will get a chance to receive a cash prize of $150,000. When I say price, I'm talking about funding price that will allow you to open your business and create your mobile app from scratch using these prices. Now, in the Dubai Chamber of Digital Economy, they will also provide you access to the large network that will give you access to investor potentially if you grow your business, but also to a large pool of partners that will help you bring your idea to life. So entering this competition is not only about the competition, but is also about having a direct access to the Dubai market. In terms of how we are preparing you for the competition, of course, the launch will be on the 13th. I'll cover it later. But you, since last week, we've opened the platform to you to have access to AI mindset workshop series. So this year this week we're covering the founder visibility with Kelly, and the third workshop will be on the 15th of October. These are workshops to prepare your mindset before we open the competition. So what we're trying to implement and help you with is how to use AI tools in your daily life as a future entrepreneur or current entrepreneur. So today we're covering the AI founder visibility with Kelly Lundberg. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce her. She is one of the most seen personal coach in Dubai. I forgot, sorry. Today I'm a little bit too excited because I see a lot of participants from last year, but what I didn't mention is that we are launching the competition at the Expand North Star on the 13th of October, and it is free. So you can just register on Expand North Star website, and you can come and visit us during the official launch that will happen on the 13th of October at the Hall 7 at Dubai Harbor. And you will be able to meet the winner of last year, who all of them have launched the app. All of them have launched the app. Within 6 months of working very hard, they launched the app on iOS and Android. And you will also be able to hear the stories and also hear from industry experts about how to use AI to create your mobile app. So join us on the 13th of October. We'd love to see you. We'll be there. And if you see us, just come and say hi. We'd love to meet you in person. So going back to the workshop today, we are joined by Kelly Lundberg, and she is a coach in personal training, but she's quite advanced in helping people on how to get visibility for themselves as an individual, but also for the organization or future organization. So Kelly, the floor is yours. I know it's going to be an exciting journey and an exciting session. Thank you very much. And see you soon. Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Really nice to meet you. Thank you so much for the introduction. Wow, I am excited to go through everything today, but I want to kickstart it before I do all the introductions with the 48% factor. So I want to make sure that we're familiar with the chat box, because I'm going to be asking you questions. I want to make this engaging. I also want to make sure that you've got access to your phone, because we've got some polls we're going to be doing. I think when these sessions are online, the more engaging, the more you answer, the more you get from this. So what is the 48% factor? So I'm going to ask you now to think, when it comes to personal branding, what do you think 48% factor means? I need you to find the chat box, and I want you to write it in. What do you think the 48% factor is? Carmen is going to help me in the chat box and share with me some of the exciting answers that you are going to share with me. And what I'm going to be doing throughout today's session is I'm going to be sharing a copy of my book. So Seed the Lemon, elevate your personal brand one pip at a time. So we're going to be explaining, what does personal branding actually mean? How is it going to impact? And what does it have to do with AI and founder-led visibility? But in the meantime, I want to know, what do you think the 48% factor is? If you get this right, there's a copy of my book coming to you. So Carmen, how quickly have we got some people writing some answers down?
Indeed, yes, we have already some answers. 48 factor is showing up.
Okay, love it. That's a great answer, by the way. I would like to go up 100%, to be fair, but it was a good answer.
We also have put something about us online every 48 hours.
Ooh, love that. Okay, great. Anything else?
How you look.
Ooh, okay, cool.
48% success rate.
Nice. I haven't asked this question live, so it's very interesting to see what the answers are coming back, especially when I haven't given too much away at this moment about what personal branding is. I think the answer is going to surprise most of you. Let's pick one more and then I'll get into what it is.
Sure, we have here as well 48 time spent on viability, and all the answers coming, and branding, time management. 48% have no brand present online. So we have many
These are great
messages.
answers. And you're definitely going along in the right track. But here it is. 48% of a company's reputation is directly attributed to the CEO or the founder's personal brand. So 48% of the reputation is attributed to the founder's personal brand. Like that's nearly half. So personal branding can have a profound impact on the success of your app, of your business, of your seed funding, but it can also have a profound impact on if you don't have visibility. So today is all about how can you be more visible? How can we use AI tools to support you with visibility, but still at the same time be authentically you, which we're going to discuss as well. So what I would love for you to do is pull out your phone. And when we get technology working, I think this is going to be quite exciting. If you can take a picture of the QR code and answer this question. So what percentage of consumers are more likely to buy when the CEO or the founder uses social media? What percentage of consumers do you think are more likely? Oh, we've got some fast typers in today. I love it. And the right answer is going to get a copy of my book. So we didn't have anyone win just before. So what have we got? They're all coming up. 20, 50, 90. Ooh, couple of you are close. Love this, love this, love this. What else have we got? 85, we've got 95, we've got 20. So those that are in the higher perspective are definitely along the right lines. We haven't got anyone who's got the right answer yet, but we've got a couple of people that are close. I'll give you another few seconds to see if we can get the right answer in there. No one's got it right yet, actually. 100%. That would be really nice if we had 100% conversion rate, wouldn't we? Once they've seen your post. Not quite right. Still not got the right answer, and I'm going to put you out. No one's going to win the prize on this one, but don't worry, you've got 2 more chances to win today as well. I'm seeing if someone got it. I really want to give you a copy of this. Who's got it? Anyone? I'm looking in. People are still typing away. Oh, we have one that's so close. So I'm going to give it to the person who actually wrote 81. 81 because the answer is 82. Oh, sorry. No, actually, no, it was already up. Here we go. 77. Who put in 77? 70%, 77% of consumers are more likely to buy when a founder uses. Type in the chat box if that was you, because I'd love to know. You are going to win a copy of my book. Who was that that won? 77% was the winner. I just want to come back out.
We have on the chat.
Oh, technology. Sorry. Who did we have win there?
We have Hamza, that he said that he wrote 77.
Amazing, amazing.
Okay. Osama very close with 78.
Yeah, that is true. So let me just pull out my next one. My
Nadia.
We've got another one, so don't worry. We've got another opportunity for people here to have a shot at this. So, okay, next question I have for you all is, and I wanted to, my slide presentation has decided to stop and it's gone straight into, this is when technology works beautifully. Just give me one moment for it to come in. Okay, so this slide I particularly like here. Let's I don't know why. I want to ask this question. Okay, so let's see here. I'm going to share screen with you all, and then let's see if we get this one working. And we do share from play from Carmen's slide. Okay, so founders with strong personal brands saw their company's share prices increase by how much? What do we think we have here now? So I want to see if it goes into, yes, it does. So I want you to click on let's see how we get on this one. Okay, what percentage, how much faster do you think, the next question is, how much faster percentage-wise do you think brands with personal brands or founders with personal brands grow than others in the Fortune 250? What have we got here? If we keep a note of who won that last one. I do like this. It's great to see.
We have a very competitive participants, Kelly.
Don't we just? Actually, someone's got the answer already. Someone has, and people are fast, huh? Love it. So the answer to this one, and I think this is all about highlighting the importance of personal branding. So we have the answer. It's coming right up in front of me. The answer here was founders with a strong personal brand saw their company share price increase by, I think this is insane, 80%, 80% faster than other companies in the Fortune 250. So we had someone put 80. Can they let us know who that was?
I can see here on the chat Abdul Ghaffur with 80. I don't
Brilliant.
know. Yes, he said yes.
Brilliant, 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 brilliant. Okay, cool. So we've got there two winners on the personal brand to de-seed the lemon and how to elevate your personal brand one pip at a time. Brilliant. Well, I want to get started and say if that wasn't enough of an introduction to get you thinking about personal branding. Hiya. Nice to meet you all. I actually start all my presentations now with this informal Scottish saying. If anyone can guess exactly where I'm from, by the way, Carmen, you can keep an eye on the chat box. I will also give a digital copy of my book away for anyone who can guess exactly where I'm from. But the reason I start with Hiya, and I'm going to tell you a little story, is last summer I got married in a beautiful castle in Scotland, and my dad, very proud Scottishman, did the father of the bride speech. And I have to say I was very nervous because I'm thinking, what is my dad going to say about me? He's known me 44 years, or at the time I should say 43 years, shouldn't age myself more. And he stood up and he said, a lot of you know here, obviously, Kelly, and as you might know, she shares a lot of stuff on social media. And of course, everyone laughed because it's true, it's part of my brand. But he said, a lot of you don't know about Kelly when she was wee being Scottish. And Kelly's first words were not mummy, daddy, mama, papa. Kelly's first words were hiya. And what she would do when she was this high is she would go to the end of the garden and she would shout hiya to every single neighbor that would go by, inviting them into the garden. And it's quite funny when we have aha moments at the most random time where I'm thinking about work at my own wedding, and I think that's it. I've always meant to be doing this, inviting people into a world, sharing thoughts. And today you'll be pleased to know that I'm not inviting you into my Scottish back garden. Have we got anyone that's guessed where I'm from yet, Carmen? But I am inviting you into the world of personal branding. I'm inviting you into the world of storytelling, and I'm inviting you into the world of being authentic and showing up as who you are, because that's what people buy into. I've been in the Middle East for more than 23 years, which is a super long time. You can guess what brought me here, and that was indeed Emirates Airline 23 years ago as cabin crew. And there's something that I still talk about to this day is there's something very contagious about the UAE, and that is the energy of anything is possible. And I've been part of that on many occasions. I've set up multiple businesses, I've sold multiple businesses, and I love the energy that Dubai has. And this is what I want to bring you into today, how you can leapfrog with that energy and your personal brand to create something that no one's seen. So consistent touch points create clarity, touch, and magic. And I'm going to just change over into a keynote in just a minute. But what I did want to share is your brand touch points matter. And today's presentation is an example of my personal brand. You will notice that the first 9 slides were all in the create app branding. And you'll see the backdrop here is still that. But my presentation style has yellow. It has branding. And there's so many aspects to your personal brand that you can demonstrate, whether it's through slides and visuals. I see lots of today. Messaging tone, voice, the words you use, your storytelling style. That is what makes you, you. Your audience experience from start to finish should feel and recognize your brand, so that when you go on the 13th of October, that your touch points, whether that's the way that you show up visually, the way that you communicate to the people that you meet on the 13th, when it comes to you pitching your app, that they remember you. And however you do that, that is up to you. Attention to detail. Every element communicates professionalism. It communicates authenticity. So just recently, I had one of my newest team members join. Her name is Buff. And I kind of threw her a little bit into the deep end. I said, if you want to get to know my types of clientele that I work with, come to this networking event and you can start to meet people. And when she got to the networking event, I gave her a bag of lemons. Now, she looked at me and I said, when you meet everyone, I want you to give them a lemon and tell them the story. And that story I'm going to tell you at the very end. But that then became a memorable piece within the networking event so that you stand out. Of October, when you're meeting maybe panelists or other app owners, how can you stand out and how can you be memorable? Consistency across touch points, whether that's your social media, your LinkedIn, it all builds trust and it strengthens your personal brand. If you go and check me out on LinkedIn, for example, you will find that my back color is yellow, so that there is consistency in your brand's touch. So this is the last point I want to bring in, and the last question I want to bring in is, who has a personal brand already? So what I would like you to do is, this is our last, oh, that just went there. Let me pull that up. I will show that. Oh, where did that go? Reload. Let me just see. Oh, didn't like that, did it? Okay, I'm going to just come out of that. There, we had people going in there. So I had some people answering if the slide came up. Let me just see if I can show QR code. There we go. Okay, who here has a personal brand? Yes, I don't know, working on it. We've got the slide up. Can we see? Yeah. Oh. So we've got one that says yes, no, don't know.
In the process of creating my personal brand, we have someone here on the chat. Also, we have sort of working on it. We have many working on it.
Love it. It's quite interesting because when I ask this question, I tend to get 3 different answers. And one answer is I get the yes, I do. So the 3 people that have said yes, I do, they put their hand up and they're confident, yes, I do. Then I get people who do this funny little dance where they're like, oh, I'm not sure if I have one. And they kind of put their hand up and down and they're like, do I or don't I? And then we get some people that just say, no, I absolutely don't have a personal brand. And here's the thing when it comes to personal branding is the real answer is you all have a personal brand. And I think this is the really important aspect of it all, is that you've got to remember every single person has a personal brand. It's just what you might not be doing is being intentional with your personal brand. So today's all about how do you become intentional with your personal brand so that you can attract the right opportunities, the right doors open for you, and you win this absolutely amazing prize, like $150,000. What I would have done with that when I would have started my business like 23 years ago. Wow. But that's another story. So, Carmen, I'm going to pass over to you. Did anyone win the copy of my book? Did they guess where I was from?
Wow, yes. So we have so many in Scotland, Edinburgh,
Oh, yes.
Glasgow, UK, United Kingdom, Edinburgh, Scotland, and we have someone that said Aberdeen. Maybe I'm pronouncing wrong.
So, high five, whoever said Edinburgh. I will make sure you get copies. So drop your name if you said Edinburgh into the chat box, and we'll make sure that you get a copy of my book. So well done. And I want to then move into this space of what does it mean to have founder-led personal branding? So let me just pull up some slides for you here where I want to bring in our part on founder-led personal branding. So I'm going to share with you someone who I would like to think that you all know who this founder is, because she's local. She is from our neck of the woods. She's from the UAE, and she turns vision into influence using her personal brand. And this is what I want you to think about, that this founder-led brand piece is huge. Because when you're starting out in a crowded market or something that's very competitive, what makes you you is the piece that's going to make you stand out from everyone else. And this is the goal. This is what we want to do. So what I wanted to start with is for you to open up ChatGPT, which I'm assuming everybody, by the way, uses ChatGPT. And instead of Googling yourself, which is what I used to do, but I feel as we're in this AI space now, I would like you to type in who is, and then fill in your name. And then I would like you to tell Carmen and myself, did anything come up? So that was an example of who is Kelly Lundberg? And thankfully, some of the things, thankfully, information came up. So images came up. There was information that came up. If you use Copilot, if you're using something else, Claude, go for it. But for me, ChatGPT, or who I've nicknamed Charles, by the way, tell me if you've renamed your AI platform. I'm super curious. So what comes up? And tell us in the chat box. If you found something, put yes. Did you find something funny that came up? Did nothing come up? Then don't worry, you don't need to let us know, because today that's going to change, and I'm going to be talking about how you can actually be including things into your AI platform, or into AI. So who is, type in your name and then search the web. Now I will tell you, the last 3 clients that signed up with me actually came through a search on AI. So clients are using that as a platform rather than Google. I used to do, you are who Google says you are, but it goes so much more beyond that now. Carmen, have we got any interesting responses as to what anyone's renamed their AI, or what people have found out about themselves when they have ChatGPT themselves?
They said, yes, AI thinks that I am a man.
Oh, okay.
Yes, there is a story of my educational background and some business. We have also, it pull up my information from LinkedIn and other social websites.
Excellent.
Yes, a lot of Kenma. Says that according to LinkedIn, I'm a virtual producer. Said others.
Brilliant. I'm going to touch on that actually, the LinkedIn piece. So LinkedIn, when it comes to personal branding, is probably the strongest platform, I would say, from a visibility perspective. And the reason it is because it's SEO optimized. Here's a couple of interesting facts. There's 1 billion users on LinkedIn. How many, I don't know if anyone's going to get this. What percentage do you think are active? If there are 1 billion users on LinkedIn, tell me what percentage do you think that's active? I'm keeping you busy today, Carmen. But it's so nice to work with someone. And the reason I share this goes back to what I just said is LinkedIn is SEO optimized. So whether you Google yourself or whether you ChatGPT yourself, that's a perfect example of what someone shared there, that their LinkedIn results came up. And it's important to understand, we all have a personal brand. We've got that now. We understand where and how it works in the visibility piece. But if someone comes to your LinkedIn profile and they can't see anything about you, or you've got no picture or no banner or no about you section, then they create an impression already before they've even met you. So if LinkedIn's the first link that's going to come up, because maybe you don't have a personal branded website yet, that's okay. So if LinkedIn's the first thing that's going to come up, then you need to make sure that that's up to date as your digital real estate right now. So what percentage do we have that people think?
So from our audience, we have 80, 60, 70, 10, 73, 48.5, 16, 48. Yeah. Many answers here.
So this, so no one's guessed it, and it's way down, by the way. 2% are active. And here's the thing. Yeah, what does active actually mean? And this is what it comes to. There's a lot of people on LinkedIn, but they're voyeurs, they're just looking around and they aren't contributing to the platform. They're not sharing value. They're not commenting on people. They're not sharing their thoughts. They're not being active in that way. So I would say if we're looking from a visibility perspective, I'll give you another stat. I know I'm keeping Carmen busy. I'll just tell you this one. 82% of the UAE is actually on LinkedIn, according to the LinkedIn stats, by the way. So I went in and double checked this, and this was what they shared. So it's a real visible platform, but one that you could use to your advantage. So how do we build up this information? So this is what we want to get into today. Where can AI help you? Because this is what this is all about. AI founder visibility. So there's a number of ways I use it. I have to say my job, thanks to AI, is so much quicker. And I'll give you some examples of that even today, how it worked, and a client commented on it. But content ideation and generation. So what I'm really aware of is that you have to think about AI and your personal brand as a collaborative tool. Okay, it's not going to replace you, and you have to put in good prompts for it to know who you are to speak your language. And we're going to do some examples of that. So it can help generate ideas, but this is where storytelling comes in as well. Research and trend analysis. This is so good to find this out and go a little bit deeper, thinking about maybe the niche of your app. And then is there some research and trend analysis that you can do within that? Improvising on efficiency. One of the things that I do every morning, and I asked Charles on my walk to the gym in the morning, these are all the things that I've got to do. So I plan my day the day before. And to be fair, I could put this in the night before into AI. But in the morning, I like to have a visual run through. And I say, can you help prioritize this? This needs to be done by this. This needs to be done here. Here are the 5 meetings that I have. What should I do? And it's quite interesting because as an entrepreneur, we're often gravitate towards things that we like doing. And then we'll end up doing them first. And then we don't prioritize things that are actually going to move the needle in our business forward. So I think improving efficiency, time saving, so good. Audience research and insights. What are they thinking? What are their pain points? Great option. Create artwork, visual identity. We use this a lot. SEO and discoverability. So giving key prompts where I will take a caption, for example, on social media, on my Instagram that I put out, and then I'll say, hey, Charles, can you make this for me SEO friendly, or can you make this more discoverable on AI platforms? And it will change it up for me. And then analytics and strategy. So there's just some of the ways that I would use it. We have to avoid copy and pasting AI generated content because we can tell. And we're going to give some examples on this as well, but I think you're going to be able to come in and add to that as well. So the 3 pillars of a personal brand that AI cannot replace, so it complements it. This is what's really important, is authenticity. So your real experiences, your emotions, and your values. And we're going to be talking about your values in just a moment. So the authentic piece of who you are and why you do things, you've got to get really clear about that. So we've got authenticity. We've got storytelling. So far I've already told a couple of stories. Sharing your journey, your wins, your lessons, your challenges, your whys, your connections. The storytelling piece is huge. And then the final pillar is the human connection. So people buy into people and not perfection. And if we can get this perfect balance, and I say perfect, but if we can get this balance of how can we use it to save time, enhance our experience, make it better, but still be us, then this is a win-win. And this is why I absolutely love, love, love using AI when it comes to your personal brand. So in order to be able to give AI, and I say platforms that you're going to help move the needle forward in your business, we need to know, it needs to know who you are. So apart from, hi, I'm Kelly, it needs more details. And I really believe that your strategic foundation comes down to your personal brand values. So what are your personal brand values? They really define your vision. They drive decision making. They are all about enhancing your trust and credibility. Why I would do something over someone else. It's all about attracting the right opportunities, and you ensure consistency and longevity. If I think about when I first moved here 23 years ago, my personal brand values were curiosity. And that's still an element of who I am today, but it's not a driving force. But for me, I was curious to see the whole world at 21 years old and just meet different people. But it changes. So your values guide every piece of content that you create. They engage differently with people and how you show up. So to give you some examples, because you're now going to go and work on your personal brand values for a minute or two, my number 1 personal brand value is inspire people to action. I want you to be here today to love this, but I don't want you to just walk away and go, that was nice. I want you to go away and go, wow, I'm going to implement this, because that's when things change and that's when a ripple effect happens. So when I create content, I want to think about how can it inspire or be thought-provoking. Another one of mine is empowering. Another one of mine is health, because I believe that you got to fill your own cup, and I can't stand on stages and I can't deliver the energy that I want to deliver if I don't go to the gym and I don't make sure that I eat well and that I sleep well. So your personal brand values are your strategic foundation. I really want you to get clear on what you think yours are. If I was to share someone that I think potentially we might all know is Richard Branson. Now, the reason I picked him because as a person, he's adventurous, but so is his brand. And this is where then you want to look at who you are as a person, and then as a founder, how can that complement your brand? Do they need to be the same? No. But do they run alongside? Absolutely. If I was to take Huda, the example that I gave earlier, which I absolutely love her journey and her growth and everything that she shares, she's about empowerment, inclusivity, making sure that she's got products for all skin tones. She's about creating a community, speaking her mind, the authenticity piece, and that is very much who she is as a person, but also how you replicate that into your brand and take that into a brand vision. But it can have advantages and it can have, this is slide, I share with you this gentleman who you may be familiar with. Now, what's very interesting about if you look at social media platforms and you look at the business, so if you look at Tesla's Instagram page, for example, it's much lower than Elon Musk's personal brand page because everyone's more interested in the personal piece. People buy into people, mentioned that already. But here's where things can then take a nosedive, and this is just a stat that I pulled up in 2024. Tesla's brand value dropped when Elon's personal brand turned into a political distraction. Not my words, that was the research. So when you start to look at things in a different way, it can have a negative effect. So where and how can we work on what your personal brand values and bring them in? in person, I do this in a very fun card game. But what we're going to do now is I want you to think, and rather than go through pairs because we're in individually, so I won't do any breakout sessions. I want you to think about your top 5 personal brand values. So think about things that people might say to you. Oh, you're so you're so consistent, or you're so inspiring, or you're so knowledgeable. What are some of the things that maybe people have potentially said to you in the past? And I want you to think about how you can potentially bring them into your content. And we're going to give you some ideas. I'll give you the next 30 seconds and then type them into the chat box, because I think there'll be some people that are struggling going, I don't know what my personal brand values are, and they need some inspiration. So if you can type in what you think yours are, maybe creativity is something that's closely aligned with who you are. I'm trying to think of someone that I had this morning, and I was doing her personal brand values. Curiosity was one this morning with one of my clients. There was someone else with, what else? Resilience. And she had a really strong story, and I'd had a number of different setbacks in there. Carmen, have we got anyone that's maybe shared some of theirs, something that comes to mind to inspire some of our audience here?
We had a knowledgeable, radical transparency, generous, adventurous, bold, integrity, moneymaker, trustworthy, wow, authenticity, creativity, resilience, innovation. We have many: connection and love, educator, dreamer,
Love it.
knowledgeable.
I had another
Yeah.
client yesterday who we did his, and one of his was collaboration. He was big on collaboration. Who could he meet? How could he help support? And then that really resonated into one of the business ideas he had. So it's really inspiring to see what words, but where and what do we do with them when we have them? And I think the big goal is what we want to do is, if you were to go to my LinkedIn page, or if you were to go to my Instagram, you would then read my bio, or you would see my pictures, and you would start to see a bit of consistency on, that's Kelly. And we want to replicate that in the same way for you as well. So if you've got 3 to 5, it's good. They change, they evolve, so be aware of that as well. What I would love to do at this point is, can we pop maybe in the chat box the link that I have for everyone? And I've created a little bit of a format for you to go back in and have a little look at. And I'm going to pull it up. As you get the link, click on it so we can just run through it a little bit, and I can help you. This is homework. I would love to spend the whole day with you all to get you prepped for this big event, but I don't. So I've tried to put this into what homework can you go away and do. So if you open up your link in the chat box there, you will see the social media strategy template. And if we click on the first document where it says in the tabs, PB Foundation, your personal brand foundation, your values. So I think this is a really good place here for you to then go, okay, what are my top values, and put them in there. Now, this might take a little bit longer, but underneath it says your why statement. So a simple statement that captures, why are you doing this? You know, why is this important to you? Why is this going to change the world and what it is that you're creating? And when you go on the 13th of October in this sort of introduction to meet people, you might go, so what's your idea? And then you've got this opportunity to share with someone. Actually, there's a real perfect example of this. I don't know if anyone's seen the movie recently of the Bumble founder, Wolf. What was her first name? Oh, the name's come out my head. Someone types it in. And the movie's called Swipe. And interestingly, in the movie, she had this 30 seconds to pitch the very first idea of her app. It was perfect. If you haven't watched it, and she did a rubbish job of it. Rubbish. But actually, her authentic self got a business card and got an opportunity to have a meeting. So I think if you can be prepped, because you never know who you're going to meet on the 13th, your why statement. Why are you doing this? And maybe you can create some sort of memorable one-liners about why this is so impactful and why it's going to have such a big impact. And the reason I'm kind of getting you to think about this, because this is also prompts and information that we're going to be putting into our AI when it comes to help us generate content for our founder visibility. So we've also got here your brand vibe. So what words reflect your energy? Are you playful? Are you happy? Are you serious? Are you direct? Are you sarcastic? Not that I would suggest anyone goes with that line, but what and how do you come across? So some of the prompts that I would put in there for me is high energy, inspiring, empowering, depending on maybe the type of post that I want to do. Value-led is a big piece for me as well. So what's your brand vibe? And I think now while you can start to see my style of presentation, but also the visual assets represent who I am as a person. And then the last one is, why should someone buy from me? So maybe not even buy from me. Why should someone download your app? Why? They've got loads of apps on their phone. What makes yours so different and why should they do it now? So these are all kind of really good questions that you can answer and things that you can put into AI when it comes to it helping you generate content. So let's leave it at that for now. You'll see that there's another couple of pages when it comes into content pillars, when it comes into hooks, and you can use that as a template to start to plan the next few months of your content. But here's the thing. When you have all these ideas and you're like, okay, this would make a great post, or I can be more visible if I post on LinkedIn. What I've noticed in the last sort of 6 years of personal brand building, so I've been in business over 20 years, and in particular brand building, is that people don't have these 3 banks. So what are the 3 banks that you need in order to be visible? And in my opinion, you need a photo bank, you need to have a B-roll bank, and you need to have a story bank. So these are the 3 banks that I feel that you need in order to be able to make content creation really easy with your friend in AI. So the photo bank, professional headshots we're looking at, it's the one thing that holds people up. Why is there only 2% of people that are active on LinkedIn? Is because most of them don't have anything to accompany their great story. The B-roll is the behind the scenes, little bits of snippets that you can create into something longer. Founder-led stories want to hear from the very start. So they want to know what it was like when you didn't have the investment. So my suggestion to you now is create content. Whether you never use it, it's fine. Just collect it. Collect B-roll, collect video, and collect stories. And your stories can go into a Google Doc. They could go into an app on your phone. They could go into your journal, somewhere where you need the 3 bank system. So let's go into the idea of batching content using AI is going to make your life a lot easier. Now, I wanted to touch on, can you use AI to create a picture of yourself? And there is those tools to do that. But I think there's got to be a level of authenticity here as well. So that's why I think, creating and making the effort to have your own pictures in various angles, outfits, and expressions to showcase who you are. And these are some of the things that I would use for clients to give them ideas on how they bring it in. A couple of little tips. If you haven't booked a photo shoot, then do. You need to have 3 to 4 outfits, get close-ups, full body, but make sure that you have some photos. And especially when it comes to something like a competition, they'll ask you, submit a picture. And you don't want that picture to be one of you with sunglasses on, or, on a night out, or it's in black and white. You want something that's really good quality, because that is what could be used in press. And let me tell you, pictures haunt you forever. They stay on the web unless you can manually remove them. So you want to make sure that, one, you make a journalist's life easy. So if you get into the top 10 or the top 3, or there's going to be interest, there's going to be media interest. And when there's media interest, they look for this kind of stuff. They want photos, they want information. And I would say, in my experience of being a business owner, I've maybe had, I want to say 10 front covers. So that's not press pieces, front covers only because I have made a journalist's life so easy by going, here's my photo bank, here's horizontal, here's vertical, take your pick, and it just makes their life easy. I remember a few years ago, it was probably about 10 years ago, I was nominated for an award, and it was in the UK, and a local newspaper in Scotland had picked up on the story. So of course the journalist had said to me, please can you send some pictures over? Anyway, my mum called me and said, Kelly, I've got the newspaper, your picture's there. And I was like, oh, she was so happy because she then declared that my picture was bigger than Andy Murray. Now, for those that maybe don't know sport and tennis, Andy Murray's probably one of the most well-known tennis players. And mum was ecstatic because her daughter was bigger in picture, but that was purely because I'd made the journalist's life easy. So I want you to think about this invisibility. That's all part of what it is that you want to do. You want to be thinking about video banks. So it's all about video. How can you bring your story? I'm going to share examples of how you would bring this together for your founder visibility. Share that story with them. Types of content that you could look at, talking heads behind the scenes, maybe if someone's downloaded it, any live clips, again, just some examples there. So quick tips, use natural light is obviously much better. I tell you, one of the best investments that I ever got was my little, I don't know if you can see here, my little DJI Osmo. And the reason I like this is because it actually has the tool where you can create sideways and you can create it for vertical as well. So I just thought I'd share that as I have it right next to me to create content. So some ideas there as well. Batch film. So when you're creating content and you want to use AI, the idea is to batch it at the same time because it will give you the ideas and then you've got the photo bank, the video bank, and the story bank to put it all together. So it just makes it so much easier. And then the story bank. For me, stories is what going to make you stand out. It's the biggest thing. It gets the biggest engagement on social media. I did LinkedIn Live actually with a former employee of head of marketing of LinkedIn. And she had said something really interesting about storytelling. So platform and the algorithms change over time, but she'd said that LinkedIn, for example, has moved away from obviously being just the initial job search that it was. Then it moved into things like cheat sheets and what was the sort of the second iteration. The third iteration now of LinkedIn and the type of content. So again, that visibility and where can you use AI to bring that in is using stories. Now your stories need to have 3 different levels to them. And what do I mean by that? They need to have your personality. They need to have value. And I've gone mind black on the third one, and I'll come back to what it is. And I wrote it down in the personality. They have to have storytelling. So the post, sorry, that's a post. The post needs to storytell, have value, and have personality. So that's why your story bank here is so crucial, because we were chatting about this before we came online about how often we forget things that are so insignificant on the day, but can actually become a profound piece of content or actually a profound lesson in how you actually show up. So stories sell, facts tell. So people connect with stories and not statistics. I went through this morning with a client who is actually in AI, and she had a very kind of beautiful framework that we've worked on together for her personal brand. But where's your story? And she was like, oh yeah, I could tell this. Okay, she had this point. Where's your story to add into it? And she's all AI responsibility. So it all comes together. Okay, so let's go back to our little friend Charles. Open up ChatGPT and just ask it to do this for you. Write a LinkedIn post for me. You could say, write a LinkedIn post on winning the competition. Write a LinkedIn post about attending this masterclass on that someone's attended. I just want you to put it in and then see what it comes out with. So I'll give you kind of 20 seconds to just see off the cuff, what does it say? It might have already picked up some things about you, but I want to do before and after. So this is the before, what does it say about you? And then we'll come back to, I think I'll do this, I'll bring Carmen in later on of the before and afters, because I think it'd be quite interesting to see with the prompts and what's changed. So ask it to write a LinkedIn post. If you don't use LinkedIn, you want to use a TikTok caption. If you want to do it for Instagram, go ahead. I picked LinkedIn because it was one of the bigger probabilities of using visibility. So write that in and we're going to come back to it. So how do we become strategic about AI storytelling? We've got to be really specific about the prompts that we give AI. We need to include the role plus context plus the objective plus the style. So we've touched on this a little bit in that document that you've all got that you're going to be working on it. So let's dive into that in a little bit more detail. So strategic storytelling is I am, who are you? So if it was me, I would maybe be looking at, I'm Kelly Lumber, a personal brand strategist, I'm a speaker, I'm an author, I'm all about empowering those to go from hidden to seen by doing all the branding in between. So I would give that information there. I would say I'm working on, so let's just take, I'm launching an accreditation in 2 weeks on how to become a personal brand consultant. So I would say I'm working on the launch for my new personal brand accreditation. I want to tell people that it starts on this day. What is the value of it? And which then goes into what's the objective. So it's about the content, how long is it on for, the value they'll get, why personal branding is quadrupled in the last 12 months, for example. What else? Other kind of stories that I could add into that. And then I would go, please write it in and I think you might be able to guess, an empowering or inspiring or action taking. I might change this because I want it to give me something that prompts action. So that's how much information, and you could give it more. And then the beauty about putting in prompts into AI is you could then start to save your persona so that when you always go back in, it's always there. I can save personas for clients so that Charles doesn't get too confused. So if you want to take a picture of that, because it's a really good example of kind of some of the information that you need to put in to get a result. So let's give some examples of kind of what happens if you don't versus how to fix it. So you may have seen a post like this before. In today's fast-paced world, leveraging innovative tools is crucial for success. Okay, what about, let's be real, things move fast. And if you're not using the right tools, you'll maybe feel a little left behind. And let's face it, no one wants to be left behind. Add in the conversation. I think a great tip is to read it out loud. And if that's not your language, then don't say it. I had someone, I've got one friend, and she's the only person that I know who uses the word I'm thrilled in person. I find it such an AI generic, I'm thrilled to announce. I'm sure you've seen it all. But she actually uses the word in real life. I don't, so it feels really unnatural. Let's pull in another couple of examples. Lack of personal storytellings. Many professionals struggle with confidence in public speaking. Fix it. I remember my first keynote, I was so nervous, I nearly knocked over the water glass. I have just shared this exact experience. It's this week. If you want to go to my LinkedIn, you can see this in action. So obviously not the lack of storytelling. I share a personal story about how last week at my event, my clicker stopped working midway through my presentation, and the laptop was really far away from where I was. There was a stage of there was 150 people in front of me, and I was like, what do I do? What do I do? And my mum was in the audience. So I got my mum to change the slides for me. And I made a little bit of a joke, and I'd said, well, we're really testing mum and daughter. That was me thinking on my feet. We're really testing mum and daughter telepathic communications. Let's see how well she is. Now, to just put some context around this, my mum is 67. Now, she's pretty good with Instagram, but I'm like, gosh, you're going to work the clicker. She did amazing. That experience went into my story bank. So when I came to batch my content, I went, right, okay, went into, and when it comes to creating LinkedIn content, I use a different platform. I use Claude. I'm going to go through which ones I use for personal brand building. And I gave all this information. Claude knows who I am anyway. And it gave me a brilliant post. So if you see that post, you'll see it in real life on how to fix it. A couple of other examples. Unnatural formal, this tool will transform your workflow and unlock limitless possibilities. This tool saves me at least 2 hours each week. It's so worth it. So you can see the difference in how we communicate. A couple of others, awkward call to action. Take your journey to the next level by embracing these strategies today. We've seen it a million times. So what else have we got here? DM me. I'd love to hear from you. What else? Not strong. And this is a great example. There's so many ways to approach personal branding. They all have merit. No, but what's relevant for you right now today? And what works for one person might need to be tailored to someone else. So I have one client today that I was working with who was really lacking confidence with putting her face on social media. And she said, it's only been 2 years since I haven't been fully covered. So she's dealing with a lot personally. How can I be visible for my personal brand and still show up without having to do full-on videos and showcase all of me? And it's baby steps. So lots of ways. If your LinkedIn CV reads like a CV, you're doing it wrong. Another example would be, read your caption out loud. If it doesn't sound like you, then rework it. So here's a few repetitive words, phrases, or cliches. I've talked about thrilled, excited to announce. I'm humbled, honored to be part of. Let's unlock your future potential. So just for a little bit of fun, find the chat box and tell me the most frustrating thing that you think about when you know someone's written something using AI. What do you find really frustrating? I'll tell you something that I haven't put in here, but I did actually do a reel on this on Instagram 2 days ago, is when people start an email with, "Hi, I hope you're well." So let me explain why, and I did go into the video as to why. It is so generic. And at the very beginning, I talked about your personal brand's got to be memorable. And it's got to be about all the touch points. Okay. So the first touch point you might have with someone is email. And you've started it the same way. Or maybe you're pitching to someone and your pitch starts with, "Hi, I hope you're well." And so have the 25 other pitches that have been sent, and yours doesn't stand out. So that's when I say for personal branding, being memorable is not just when you meet them in person. It's not just when you look online and you see their pictures. It's the email. It's all those touch points. It's all those assets. Carmen, do we have some funny ones that I can add to the repetitive words, phrases, or cliches? Is there anything that you found in your line of work that people use a lot?
I'm reading what we have here. So embrace the opportunities, not authentic. The grammar isn't always correct.
Yeah. But put a point on that one with the grammar isn't always correct. I nearly think that AI fixes it so much that I've lost a little bit of my authenticity, because I did used to make a few spelling mistakes, and I nearly think that you're more authentic if there might be a typo in it as well. Side note, any others that people are like, "Yes, I've spotted that."
Yeah, the unedited all over the mail. Guess what? Like every brand has a story, but the real challenge is making the world listen. As an Instagram caption is clearly AI.
Yeah. Do you know the other day, so people now will in post and they put it into an app, and then they go create a caption, create a comment, and then people create comments, but this person hadn't removed the AI, and at the bottom it had said, "Would you like me to adjust, amend, or recreate another caption for this?" And I was like, how to not do it. So what we want to do is we want to use AI is the tool. But thank you for coming back and sharing some of those as well. So
No. I mean, I'm here. I'm not coming back. I'm here just hiding behind scenes.
coming back to talk to me.
No, we have another one that's exactly that. It's like some use it too often for email, so they forgot to remove the guidelines from AI.
So we don't
Definitely.
want that. We don't want that. So thanks so much, Carmen. So prompts to
No
use.
worries.
Here's making it a little bit specific. Do you remember I gave you the strategic AI storytelling formula? So you took a picture of that. Some additional prompts for you to use. I often use, can you give me a compelling hook that stops the scroll or that stops people in their tracks? I then add in what my lesson is. So I put in the whole story about my mom. And some of the takeaways. So again, it's my own personal story. I maybe say, can you give me some options of a clear CTA, call to action? So it could be a question, and just you can then choose what it is that you want to do. Maybe you want to say, make this 200 words, make it 500 words. One of the ways that I reduced it, so later this month, I'm really excited because I'm doing my second TEDx talk, and they asked me to send a bio that was 100 words. And I was like, 100 words? 100 words? How am I going to put that? So, of course, I took my existing bio that I had, which isn't AI generated, but I did put it into AI and say, can you make this 100 words? And you might want to use your bio to add that in. So, what I'd like for you to do is go back to the ChatGPT, the initial LinkedIn post that you just did. You'll probably see the generic or maybe the formal phrases, and use these prompts. I'm going to leave this up here, and I want you to write out something. And again, it can be anything you want. It could be, I don't know, something for a pitch. It could be something for a proposal. It could be for a LinkedIn post. I've used LinkedIn as an easy one that people can visualize with. And I want you to rewrite it. Thinking about the authenticity, I want you to think about the storytelling piece, and I want you to think about the information that you're putting into it. So I'm going to give you sort of a minute to do that. And then I'm going to see it live, because then you're going to tag in the team here today. And at the end, they are going to share the handles on all the platforms for any of the posts that you want to share, that you've used AI or that you've attended this. So we'll come back to that in just a minute. So here are some of the prompts, and I want you to type that in and just make this post a little bit better. On a side note, if this helps you when it comes to storytelling, I use this very simple framework. So if you can multitask, you might want to write this framework down, because it has honestly changed my clients create stories to be able to put into presentations. And that's the 4C framework. So the first C is context. You've got to give people a little bit of context. The second C is, what was the challenge? The third C is then, how did you confront it? And the fourth C is the consequence. So I'll repeat that. First C, context. So let's take the example that I just shared about the LinkedIn post about how I got my mom up. I honestly think I followed this framework. So I gave context. The context was, last week I was back in London. I don't even have this, by the way. Let me see if I can get this up on my phone so I can help you with this framework. So gave the context as in, last week I was back in London and I was presenting at an event. So set the content so people know exactly where and when. It wasn't 10 years ago. It wasn't 5 years ago. It was pretty recent. Okay. Okay, I've got it here. So context was, last week's event in London was incredible, but it taught me one lesson. So that's the context. Then we want to go into the challenge. So I put, you can prepare and prepare and prepare, and sometimes things still don't go to plan. Halfway through my talk, the tech failed and my clicker completely stopped working. So that was the challenge. My laptop wasn't anywhere near me, so I had to think fast. What happens next? We go into how did I confront the challenge? Enter my mum, who happened to be in the audience. Without hesitation, I handed over the reins and asked her to manually click through my slides. Suddenly, we were testing out our mother-daughter telepathic communication. The nods, the eyebrow raise, the hand gestures. And she nailed it. Last part of it is the consequence. So how did that come out? The consequence. At 67 years old, she embraced every moment of her new producer role, the pictures in the comments. I'm going to tell you about that because it was something new that I tested. It reminded me that no matter how much we plan or prepare, life will always find a way to surprise us. The magic isn't in everything going perfectly, it's how we respond when it doesn't. So the audience laughed, I threw in a few extra jokes, which I did, and the talk went brilliantly. Maybe even better than if everything had gone smoothly, because it shows how you show up. So it's easy to chase flawless delivery, but people don't always remember perfect. They remember presence, authenticity, and human moments. That makes something feel special. So what I did do was in the comments, I actually posted a picture of my mum, which was clicking through the slides, and I put at the top, mum, aka speaker, producer. Now, interestingly, that caption, that picture of my mum got 713 impressions. So a third, no, maybe more. What was that? A quarter of actually the overall post of people seeing that. So I'd love if anyone's got an example to share. And let's see if someone's got a really good before, this was so generic, and a really good afterwards. Let's see if we can get someone on to share it. Has anyone got one that they think, you know what? Yeah, oh, this was so bad. That first AI generated one was bad, but actually now I've used the prompts, I can see how well this works. Is anyone willing to share? I'll give away another copy of my book if anyone's got a good example.
Yeah, don't be shy. Now I'm here. So I can put on the chat.
If we have. Yeah, this is where we get specific. If anyone's got one.
They're asking for a little bit of time, Kelly.
Yeah, I know.
A little bit of time.
I've got so much to tell you all. I want to go through.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me know if you found that framework helpful, the 4 C's. I use it in polls. I use it in...
Oh, we have one. I don't know if you can see it directly from to host some panelists, because it wasn't shared on the everyone chat. Just a reminder, so everybody can type on everyone, so all the attendees will be able to see the text.
Okay, so the old one, yes, I can go back a slide. I've just gone into this. So Maina, the old one, I wonder if she can resend the new one with the, it's quite funny because she has sent this and it's like, here's to closing the year with energy, color, and connection and stepping into the next one. And it's like, how can we make that more personal with a better CTA? Someone wanted to go back on. Oh, sorry. There we go.
She has shared the new one.
Yes, she has. That's so much better. Oh, I think we've chopped it off. Okay. Did she send that to everyone or just the host and the panelists?
No, indeed. Maina, if you want, I can copy paste and share on everyone chat if it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because yes, as I was saying, no, just a reminder, you can't adjust your chat settings to everyone. So all the attendees will be able to see your message. So when you type on the chat, just click everyone and you will, and all of us, we will be able to see. Yeah, she said that it will be okay with that. So I'm
Put the
gonna
first one, her
Yeah,
first one in, and
the
then
old one.
I'm also going to give some feedback on how else I would improve the second version. So at least we can see real time. Someone else has asked to go back to the slide with the first prompt. So let me just come out of my presentation. And I think you are referring to this slide. So let me just play that. So there we are. I think someone was looking for that one.
I just share the old one and the new one from Mina.
So we've got there the old one. We've got we're crafting exciting seasonal events, bringing people together. We're losing the personal piece. Then when we go into the new one, from one falcon to a flight full, my journey of what's next. Cool. So a couple of things there I would do. I would make that more intriguing. So I would even go from one falcon to a full flight. ... And I would get rid of the dash, and I'd be like, "Ooh, you want to give curiosity." So, oops. So I would go. My slides moved up there. I need to. Someone just commented, and I lost my scroll on that there. Hang on, just a wee minute. I just want to go into the panel there where I can check. Okay, I can see it all now. Because I think this will be really useful. So love it. I would make the hook a little bit more intriguing. When I started 111 events, my very first project was small, just a single falcon setup at a local event, no big budgets. So I love this. So I'm getting to know you a little bit more. No big budgets, no fancy teams, just passion, persistence, and a belief that experience can move people. Love it. So we've set the context a little bit of when you first started. The tiny moment sparked everything that came. From one falcon, we grew to full-scale brand activations, immersive exhibitions, and an unforgettable experience across the UAE. Now, as 2025 draws to a close, my world is once again buzzing with ideas, confetti, creativity. We're working on exciting all seasonal. I would even see if we could be any more specific. So we've got bring people together through authentic connection with X, if you can share that. If we can bring something in there, awesome. Celebrate brands. And then we've got, I've learned that growth doesn't always come from big starts. It comes from consistency. I'd take out the dash. It comes from consistency, collaboration, and courage. And then I love that everyone's still typing in, and then I lose you when I'm reading that. Here's to ending the year with energy. So you've missed one part, a really clear call to action. So I've mentioned a lot of things that need to go in post. You need to give great prompts. You need to tell a story to bring in the storytelling. But the other thing that you need to consider is this little piece of framework, HIC. So H stands for hook, I stands for information, and C stands for call to action. You can use that as your little checklist. So if we look at the example, we have the hook, from one falcon to a full flight. I didn't really know what to a expanded business. It could be from one falcon to a team of 20, or from one falcon to, 50 events we closed off this year. That's the hook. Then we've got the I, which is all the information. You told the story, the insights, I guess you could say. And then the C is the call to action. So what are you doing this year on New Year's Eve? Engage in conversation. Or it could be, have you ever met a falcon? You think of something where you want to engage with people, and they can come back to then asking questions, and they start to get to know you. And I start to see the same people sort of comment, have a bit of a conversation, or go, I saw you here, I like this. And you've got to remember that social media platforms are meant to be social. And there is that element of communication and building trust. And this is where this founder visibility is going to continue to develop. You want people to trust you. People don't trust you if they don't see you. So if you're not sharing content and not doing it a lot and not using AI to help you with that process and repurpose the content, then you're missing out on opportunities. So another opportunity in terms of visibility that's really working well for our clients is LinkedIn newsletters. So I would say that it took me, I don't know, I want to say 10 years to build a newsletter for my own business of 5K. 5,000 people that have signed up to my newsletter. It probably took me 10 years. We just crossed 5,500 people in 8 months on LinkedIn. Now, what we've done is we've tracked using AI the open rate of the personal newsletter and the LinkedIn. And it's pretty much neck and neck. It could be 0.5%, it could be 1%, but there's not much in it. In 8 months. So when we're talking about eyes and visibility and people talking about your app and what you're doing and why they're investing in you, it's so, so, so important that they see you, because then if they see you, they think that you're doing well, which you are. So I love that we've got loads more examples. What I might do is, if we have time at the end, I'll come back and give some feedback on some of those, on how I would maybe change it or how I would improve it. So keep popping them in there. What I'd like to do is go back, because I've got lots more slides to share with you, and I just want to be clear on where we had got to. So we were here. Do we know who this lady is? Sara Blakely, $1 billion founders, because she was the first self-made billionaire. They don't just sell products, they sell stories. And for her, it all started with a pair of pantyhose, some scissors, and a bright idea. And she talks a lot about how she started her business with $5,000. Like, I've read it a lot. The start of your story, an origin story, by the way, and how this all comes is a whole other piece into how you build your visibility. But your story is going to be that you won $150,000. So you've got to be documenting it along the way. When Sara Blakely sold her final shareholding in Spanx, I want to say maybe about 4 or 5 years ago, her story made every single publication, but it made every publication differently. So in the business magazines or in the business publications and the financial piece, the actual sale went in. So it was all about, she's acquired this much, how much the business had scaled over the past X amount of years. So it was very finance driven. And then in every single lifestyle publication, the sale went into the magazines and online stories because of what she did when she sold. And for those that don't know, she gifted every single one of her employees $10,000 and 2 first-class plane tickets to go anywhere in the world as a thank you. So it just goes to show that you can get global visibility, but different places pick up on different things and how they communicate that as well. So $1 billion founders, they tell stories. So that's so important when it comes to it, because what happens is when you tell stories, you build trust, you become real, people relate to you, you build connection, and this is where growth comes from. The reality is that facts fade, stories stick. So you want to make your founder-led brand one that people remember. So we've got to keep documenting, building that story bank, building that photo bank, and building that video bank. The TEDx talk that I'm doing, I'm capturing every time I'm practicing. I'm capturing every screenshot because I want to create something at the end. Because what's really fascinating about, I think, this journey of doing my second TEDx talk is on the 7th of May, I went back and looked at my goals, and I looked at halfway through nearly of the year, what have I not achieved? And I was like, do you know what? I'm going to invest some time on trying to see how I can get a TEDx talk. Didn't know how, didn't know what I was going to do, but I thought, be prepared, Kelly. If someone contacts you to do a TEDx talk, what would you do it on? So as I was walking home from the gym, I was typing into my phone, this is what I would do my TEDx talk on. I kid you not. August the 22nd, I get an email. I get an email in saying, we'd love to invite you to speak at TEDx Lum. And they'd said, it's going to be on the 25th of October, gave me all the dates. We need you to submit your application. And I was like, I have the answer. I know exactly what I'm going to go and speak about. I managed to send it off to them. I was successfully got to the next stage. And I'm so pleased that I've prepped already for it because I only have 3 weeks notice. So there's the thing, storytelling, building up. This is all the visibility piece that you're going to need when it comes to telling your story at the end.
Yesterday launched her fashion brand during lockdown from her bedroom after taking a leap of faith by leaving her day job at ASOS.
I always say I was like the consumer with the problem offering the solution. I always say that gave me like a really realistic visibility to what it would actually take to launch a brand.
From this, she's built one of the most in-demand brands in the UK, known for its refined aesthetic, minimalist style, and rapid growth.
I remember getting a few orders on the first day, Lorna Lux. So she basically just posted on her story, she had bought this blazer and she was taking it to Paris. And I remember that day we took around £60,000.
An unstoppable rise within the fashion industry. Her insight is one I wish that I would have had as a young female aspiring to be an entrepreneur.
So I shared that example of Amy because it generates so many more opportunities when you're personal. So what you could do with that and that journey and how you can use AI to support you. What I would do and advise a client is the storytelling piece gets you onto the podcast. Then from the podcast, I would transcribe that. And then you can then afterwards say into AI, from the transcribed version, I then would say, can you pick out 10 one-liners for me that I could create into quotes? Or can you create 10 pieces of content for me? So you're taking the visibility opportunity because you've created a story, you've had a visibility opportunity through a podcast, but how do you leverage from that? So that's another way that I've used it. Another way in terms of auditing, I was hosting media personal brand media training type session, and the CEO needed some feedback on his presentation style. So I took all his interviews, and again, this could be something that you could do. Take your interviews, transcribe them, put them into AI, and then I got really clear and asked questions. And the questions were how many ums and ahs, and I have a whole formula of the types of things that I wanted to know to help him grow his personal brand. And it came back and it did it all for me. So that time efficiency piece that I mentioned early on is huge when it comes to you being able to 10x, shall we say, your visibility. So this is when I believe the choice is strategic. It's not optional. We've got to be clear. You all have a personal brand, whether you like it or not, whether you're posting or not. It's how you meet people. It's how memorable that you are. So 4 pillars of strategic founder branding that I want you to think about. Few videos here. The credibility acceleration. So you can cut years of trust building by being honest, sharing a story, and talking about how you went from here to here. This was an idea that I had, and 12 months later, it's in operation because I won $150,000 to help me with that. There's also when you have the ability to be memorable and you have the ability to communicate and sell. I used this example here. I tried to look actually for the UAE Shark Tank, but I couldn't find one that had a long enough journey to explain what had happened. I'm going to play this video and then I'm going to ask you a question.
Hi, Sharks. I'm Aaron Kraus from Philadelphia, and I'm known as the daddy of the Scrub Daddy, the cutest but most high-tech scrubbing tool in the world. Today, I'm seeking a $100,000 investment in exchange for 10% equity in the Scrub Daddy business.
My offer is $100,000 for 30%. I will get you into infomercial right away, and I'm pretty confident that we could get this into all retail stores across the country within literally weeks.
The equity amount is too much. Would you consider coming down to 20?
You know what? I will. I'll go to 20.
You got a deal.
Got a deal.
Love this. So he was really clear. So then I got really fascinated about Scrub Daddy. And I want you to type in the chat box, what do you think they made in revenue in 2024? So don't Google it, don't check it out. Just type, what do you think Scrub Daddy's revenue was? It blew my mind. Any guesses, Carmen?
100 millions, 220 millions, 100 million, 100 million, 200, over a billion, 2 billion, 300 to 350 million, 5
That's
billion.
more like it. Yeah, that is more like it. So the estimate was in 2024 was about 340 million US dollars. 340 million from an idea. I'd love to say that that could be you 10 years from now with your idea, with the investment and the support and where it goes. This is the potential. And owning that brand. You know, it's something that's quite interesting as well, because people get a bit scared about thinking about their personal brand when they want to exit. And I think, yes, there can be times when it comes to personal brand building that you want it to be about the business and not all about you. But here's the thing. I sold a very personal business. So for 15 years in the UAE, my very first business was personal shopping. That's what got me into personal branding. How people show up, how they dress, how they present. And I sold that business. And what the luxury of having a personal brand meant was for 2 years, I still made money before I started my next business because I had a personal brand. Which will take me on to another thing as well, as to why having a personal brand also helps you attract great talent. So as your app and your idea grows, you want to bring people into it. So this is a local UAE-based company. One of my dear friends, Tash, owns this. And she's quite vocal about her personal brand and the things she does and the challenges she faced and the highs. And people want to work with her. And if it's not just want to work with her, they stay. And I think that's really important as well. You don't want to be going through staff as you grow and grow and grow. You want to make sure that you keep them. And then the fourth pillar, I would say, when it comes to being strategic is the crisis insurance. So I've not been through any crisis as such. So I'm not the Elon Musk that's lost the billions. But what I would say is that I survived a recession in 2009 in a luxury market. And because I had a personal brand, other opportunities happened. So personal brand opportunities that happened were speaking, collaborations. I was starting on social media. Whereas if I only just had my styling business, I might not still be here. So having that personal brand really does give you the flexibility for multiple revenue streams, but also to ensure that you last the test of time. So I want to run through some AI tools that I use for personal branding and content creation. If anyone's got any others they want to share, you can do so. So for content writing and brainstorming, we've obviously got our good friend, Charles, ChatGPT. I compete a little bit between Claude and ChatGPT. I really like Claude for longer form content. So I find it great for helping me potentially with mapping out some presentations. I find it great for LinkedIn, courses. I would use Claude for that. For something shorter, I would probably use ChatGPT. Jasper AI is another copywriting tool that you could use as well. LinkedIn specific, again, I've talked a lot about LinkedIn because it is SEO optimized, and at the moment that might be the first link that comes up for you if someone was to Google you or ChatGPT you. ChatGPT you? I haven't said it like that before. So here's a couple of LinkedIn AI tools that you can use as well. Then we've got some for video and audio content, Descript. Some of these you may use. Turns long form videos into short form. And this Haleo one, I'm going to show you a fun example of how I use this, and maybe you can do something similar. Because again, it's, you know, using AI is as much as it's about personal, it's business, it's about personal too. My husband and I have just booked to go to South Africa in January, and we've used it to look at restaurants. We've used ChatGPT to tell us about the must-have places that the safari lodges that we should go and stay at. You know, different perspectives. Visual branding, Canva, love it. I haven't used these two, but they could be ideas. If anyone's used them, let me know in the comment section as well. And email and communication, Grammarly, still there. Lavender. And then, of course, you've got the ones that are integrated into Google, like you've got Gemini, I think the other one is, that's there. So here's the thing, AI is going to continue to evolve, but human connection will always win. If this is your biggest takeaway, you've got to get human. So I thought about some of the unconventional AI uses for personal branding. So visualization. So earlier this year, this is a static picture, by the way, and I put it into Haleo, and I'm big on my goals. I'm big on visualization. And one of my clients actually showed me how to use this on a personal perspective, because I was trying to do 10 pull-ups in the gym, and I haven't managed 10 yet, but he took a picture of my photo shoot and said and did the video of me doing 10 pull-ups. And he says visualization, you know, is one thing, but actually seeing it in motion, it feels so real. So I was like, oof, what else can I do this for? So I took a picture in January of me at my event, and I said, I want to speak on big stages this year. And that's what I put in, and that's what it created. And I know that's going to happen. And hey, TEDx, it's all happening. So maybe there's a visualization of you winning the competition. What does that look like? Can you recreate that and add that into your visualization? I love, love, love this one. Tell me what I don't know prompt. AI spots patterns that you might miss. So I typed in from everything. The prompt that I put in was, from everything you know about me, tell me one thing I might not realize about myself. So from everything that I always put into you, tell me one thing that I might not know about myself. And it spotted patterns. And this is what it came out with. And this kind of feedback is gold, because what this can do is it can be content in your pitch. It spots things that I didn't even know this, but I love that it spotted out that you carry a kind of permission slip energy. And clients will come back and say, oh, I feel like I can go and achieve anything now. You've given me the confidence, but I just didn't know how to put it into words. So I love, love, love this prompt. Then let's take it more into the business side. What else could you use it? Marketing and kind of a bit of competitive analysis. Reverse engineer your success. So go and put a prompt in. Here are 3 people in my space, these brands I admire. Take a picture of this. These are their unique positioning. What are their content patterns? And give it information. What do they do that I could add to my style, not copying, but give me an alternative? How can I create something equally compelling, but also me? So do some research. Another one is go dive deep on your audience. So take the comments that people might say on your LinkedIn, hopefully if they're not AI generated, or maybe if you get the opportunity to do a pitch and practice, take all the feedback that people say, put that back into AI and go, this is the feedback that I got from my pitch from all the people that listened to me. How can I make my pitch even better? So these are just little ways, whether it's audience, feedback, you can use this as well. So there's another link that I wanted to give you, and that is a 28-day guide to build your authentic AI-powered, remember, it's not competing, it's your collaborative tool, No one's come back and actually told me their names, actually, their other names, if they've named them. Let me know. It's in the chat box now. There's a link for you. And what I've done is I've created one task for you to do every day. And to be honest, the first 2 days you could probably tick off your list because we've done them in this presentation now. And then there's an AI prompt for you to follow and do that for 28 days. Consistency. People say, what's the number one thing? The key to building a successfully visually driven brand is consistency. Compound effect, compound effect, compound effect. That's what's going to have the results. So a few of you have won a copy of my book. If you have, put your email address in there. So the ones that were early on that guessed the 77% that guessed Edinburgh, if you can come into the chat box, leave me or I don't know how to do this without, leave me a message, and if there's a way that I can communicate and send you a direct link, that would be amazing. I don't expect you to share your email address with everyone. But if there's a way that I can send this to you, or Carmen, if there's a better way, I just want to make sure that everyone who won gets their copy. Now, we've got a few minutes. I wanted to answer any questions. This is your time where if there's something that I've said, I've kind of kept my eye on it, and I know that you have as well, to ask me something. I know
we have a question, Kelly, here on the, we have a question.
Oh, go for it.
So we have a question for you on the Q&A tab from Fatima. So do you prefer to chat with our customer or just invite them for an open day to introduce our brand?
The answer is both. Both. I would say if you've got an opportunity to get in front of your potential clients, invite them. But my feedback would be, how can you be different? So a little bit about the lemon, bringing a lemon. We want to think about how you can be memorable. What can you do that makes it engaging for them to be like, wow, okay, yeah, I definitely can use that, or I can see the benefit. But before that, they're coming to see your social media. And this platform, this works perfectly, I guess, for me also closing clients. So I would say people connect with me through social media. They follow me for a little while, whether that's through Instagram or LinkedIn. So I'm talking about the buying journey. Okay, I don't have an app. People are buying my service, but to just give a real-time example. But where my sales come in is when I invite them in to do a little mini masterclass. So I'll be like, come in, learn this. I give away 2 hours worth of content. But then the reality is, as a business owner, I can make anywhere between $3,000 and $30,000 US from a small session, because then they've spent 2 hours with me. So there's something about people spending time with you. And I think it was Daniel Priestley that talked about this. And it might have actually been on my podcast. Daniel Priestley's been talking about personal branding for years. And I do a lot of podcasts where I bring in experts to talk about their personal brand. And he said something like 7 hours, that people need to spend 7 hours with you and then they'll buy. So, and again, this happened. So I had this client the other day, followed me on social media and was like, oh, okay, went to my YouTube, and he said, I consumed more than 3 hours of your content, then I just went and bought your service. So how time, people need time with you. So if you can do it in person, if you can create long form content, it's all great.
We have another one here. So which AI tools are you really using for media right now? There is a lot. Free is limited. Pay is costly.
Honestly, my favorite I'm using is Claude at the moment. I really like Claude for the value, and it might be because of where I am in the business at the moment. I'm trying to compile a lot of content and take all my ideas and make it into an accreditation. So that's where Claude for me is working really well because it can absorb all of that. I've paid for that version and it just gives me a little bit less ChatGPT kind of caption wise. So for me, I really like that one. We pay for Canva. I'm trying to think what else. We pay for some of the ones to create the long form into short form content, video content. So we've got quite a few. So it depends where and what it is that you're doing. Maybe if you hire someone, then they're going to pay for it and you get it all in one as an example. But yeah, that's the one I'm probably on most. And then I compete with Charles and
Very
Claude.
good. We have another question here. So what will be a great strategy to market our company if we are looking to expand to the UAE? We have recently launched our own food brand.
Ooh, okay. So food brand, as in like a product for the food. I'm trying to think, where's that question?
Food brand. From Sheldon is insert food brand.
Food. Okay. Yeah, you know,
food brand.
sorry, I thought you were saying food as in the bottom of your toes. And I'm like, food?
Sorry.
Okay, yeah. I love it. Okay, and I found it. Great strategy. We're looking to expand to the UAE. We recently launched our own food brand. You've got to get people talking about this. People have got to be trying this. And I think honestly, collaboration. Where can you do a collaboration with someone who's already got your audience? I saw this the other day, and I actually thought it was a really good way. I wouldn't have thought to put them together. So I talked a couple of times about Huda, and Huda has a sister, Mona, who does the perfumes. And just 2 weeks ago, Mona did a collaboration with a cookie company. And they created 4 different types of cookies based on the smell of the Huda perfume. The Mona's perfume. Kailai, someone can come in and pronounce it better for me. And with the cookies, thank you. And with the cookies, there was 2 free trials of the perfume, like the mini trial, and then these 4 delicious cookies. And then there was this story about why they'd collaborated. And I just think that's a great way to cross-pollinate, food with luxury, with lifestyle, and bring it all together. So I like that idea, and I would look and see where and how you could collaborate with someone to do something that is different. I like it.
Very good. We have more questions here. Oh, yes.
Oh, there's one. Okay, I've seen one there. What was the turning point for you? When did you realize to become a public speaker and personal brand consultant? What is your story there? Okay, I want to share this because it was an aha moment that I really want you to take seriously. And it's a little bit funny, but in about 2009, to set the scene, context, 2009, I was in my styling days then, and to do a collaboration with a luxury brand was really going to elevate me and my business. And in 2009, I got the phone call from Harvey Nichols, and they said to me, "Can you come and do a styling event? We want you to take all the season's trends that are on the runway in store and show people that are regular people how to wear them." Because that was the thing. So many styling events, they were super stylish, but you're like, who's going to wear that every day here in Dubai? So I was the person to make it relatable. Sure. So the marketing department said to me, "Can you send me over your logo, your pictures, your bio, all of that?" Sent that all over to them. And then I get a phone call from the PR team that said, "I'm afraid we can't use your logo. We can't use your bio. We can't use these." And I'm like, why? Like, I didn't want to miss out on this opportunity. And they said, as a business, we can't be seen to be promoting a business. We can only be seen to be working with people. So please, can you send me over your personal logo and your personal bio? Of which point I said, "Of course, we're just in the process of updating it. Can you give us 24 hours? I frantically found a graphic designer who could create me a logo within 24 hours and sent it to Harvey Nichols. did my bio, which in those days there was no AI to do it quickly. So I had to labor of love, probably took me about 10 hours. And that was the aha moment for me, realizing that it's not just businesses, it's media. I got a massive feature in a magazine and I thought it was all about business. I thought it was all about my first book. No, they wanted the Kelly story. And I was like, but I'm not interesting. But they felt their readers thought that that story was more interesting. They know their readers more than I do. And I hear this a lot. People say, oh, but I don't have anything interesting to say. And that's why you need to go back to your story bank, because I always say what is obvious to you is amazing to others. What is obvious to you is amazing to others. You only need to be one tiny chapter, sometimes one page ahead of someone else in order to help them. And that's all. So a little extra note on that brand piece there, that also at the same time, I really tried hard to buy kellylundberg.com, because I believe that there's enough real estate for your business brand, your app name, and your name, because I sold my business, but I still had Kelly Lundberg. But the point being, a side note, I tried to buy kellylundberg.com in 2009. And you know what? It was gone even then. But I paid GoDaddy, I hired a broker, and I paid a lot of money, spoke to the person who owned my domain name. It wasn't mine, but you know what I mean. And he refused to sell it to me, like refused. And I was so annoyed. And he eventually came back with his reason why. And I have to say, it was nice. He said to me, I've just had a daughter and I've named her Kelly Lundberg and I want to leave something for her. It's like, oh, why didn't my parents think about a domain name for me? My parents are not technical in the slightest, so that was way off the radar. So I made a mistake then, and I actually bought the domain name kellylundberg.co. And I had a disaster. I spent time in LA as a celebrity stylist. People thought I'd spelt my business cards wrong. I'd missed out an M. I went to the UK, the added.co.uk. So in my rebrand in about 2015, I was like, this is not working. And I bought kellylundbergofficial.com. And that's why all my handles are Kelly Lundberg Official. So that was a slightly long-winded answer as to own your name, because you never know what you might do. I should be on some sort of commission for an AI and buying domain names. But interestingly, the only one client that hasn't gone for a .com is my client who's in AI. So she's in responsible innovation and AI, and she's actually gone for it's emmajohnson.ai, because that's what she's in. That's her niche and that's her experience. So she's the only one that I've gone, I agree with that. The rest of you, buy me a .com.
Great Do we have time for a last question? Because I'm watching. So, what is the best strategy to update LinkedIn that we talked about earlier, about completing a master degree or a lot of accomplishment, especially if the person hasn't posted in over a year?
Okay, so the question being, so how would you start a strategy in that? Okay, so I've sent you the document because I think it's really clear that you've got to know what it is that you're talking about. So you want to get clear on what your content pillars are. So your content pillars are things that are of interest to you because it's either in your industry, or it's something you want to get into, or it's something that you're knowledgeable about. So you've got to get clear, first of all, on what those content pillars are. For you to just go, what shall I post today? Like, that strategy is not strategic and it's not best use practice of your time, and you can't batch content and use AI to help you with that. So get clear on your content pillars, on what do you want to deliver. And I think a mistake I see a lot of people doing is, like, for example, they talk a lot about maybe where they are now and maybe not kind of that aspirational piece. You know, your personal brand is evolving. So you also want to think about opportunities in the future and how can you be talking about them or be linked to them so that when something happens, that they think about you. I think a lot of people make the mistake is underneath their name, they use that as their job title, and that really shouldn't be. It should be keywords that are related to what it is that you do, and it should be related to like marketing manager, it's general. What's the problem that you're solving and in what industry? And you could get really niche and use AI to get clear on keywords that describe you. And what it is. You'll see mine, like I've got TEDx speaker or speaker, one of them. And the point is that so many people find me through speaking, through LinkedIn. Very, very quick story. Again, through the content pillars, bring it back to what it is. So tell the story, but bring it back to your expertise. So I did a post in the summer. I had been to Sri Lanka and I was astounded at the hospitality. Like it was next level. We were off season, the people were amazing. And they really, in my opinion, DC'd the lemon. It was the small details. And that's the last story I'll finish up on because I've got 1 minute. I put this post out about this. Did not expect the results from it, but I used the 4 C's, told the story, hook, information, call to action. The post went viral. Like I think it was maybe 150,000 impressions. Engagements, oh my God, it got 65 reshares. The picture was just me standing next to the pool. Like there was nothing special about it. But the best bit is I've got invited to do a speaking event in Sri Lanka at a conference with entrepreneurs because he saw my post. Visibility. So I'm going to share the link for those two, the one that's for DC the Lemon, but I said I would share with you why I call it DC the Lemon. And the story around it is my Scottish granny used to always have a hot water with lemon. And when I was wee, she used to cut out the pips out of the lemon. And I was like, Granny, why do you do that? And she said, no one likes pips floating around. It's little things, but no one likes pips floating around. And I was like, yeah, she's probably got a point, but I was so young I didn't know until I started drinking hot water with lemon. No, nobody likes pips floating around in whatever it is that they're drinking. But it was a real visual piece for me to see the small things have the big impact. You don't need to do something massive. You just need to be consistent with your personal brand, and that's going to drive visibility and helping you be more memorable. So DC the Lemon is the visual metaphor. Elevate your personal brand 1 pip at a time. No one likes pips, but we like detail, and the attention to detail is everything. So that's my last story.
Oh,
it was
wow,
lovely to meet you all. We still had like 75 there.
We have, yeah, we have many participants. We have many questions without answer because we were running out of time. So really, thank you very much, Kelly. We were so lucky to having you here today.
Loved it. Loved sharing this content. I'm just taking down honestly, I really do. And I wish you all the best. Like I really do. It's such an incredible opportunity. I would have loved to have $150,000 to start my business. I didn't have anywhere near that. I very much had to bootstrap my way in my business with a very little loan. And that's for those that don't win. You keep going because this is going to ignite something in you that is going to continue to inspire, like honestly, so many people. So I wish you the best of luck. I love that you have been so engaged with me today. I'm sure I'll connect with you all on social media. I took the 4 names there of those who won. I will send you a copy of the book. And yeah, anything else, Cameron, you want to wrap up? Or
No, that's it. Thank you very much all for joining us today. Thanks millions, Kelly, because it was really engaging and really, I am sure that the audience appreciate your insights and they will put in motion very soon. So thanks a lot.
I hope so. They've got loads of tools.
For all of you, we will have our next session on AI mindset next week at the same time, same place. So I think that my colleague Marian already shared the link to register. And for those who are based in the UAE, we will love to meet you in person on Expand Nostad. That is start on Sunday. So that's it. Thank you very much, all of you, for joining. Thank you, Kelly. Thanks.